right, baby. Right here on KRLA. You got the #1 song for 1965 right here on the Wolfman Jack Show.
Baby.
Welcome back, everybody, to Gunslingers right here on
The Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
That's right, baby. Right here on the Wolfman Jack Show.
Let's get to Ed over in Riverside. Ed, how you doing?
Evening, Ed.
I'm doing pretty well today, thank you. How
Love
about
to
you
hear
all?
Now, you know my story. I'd bitch, but who'd listen?
50,000 people on your radio show.
What's going on, Ed? What can we do for you?
Well, I thank you for that little history lesson on the Moro War in the Philippines. I was not that much familiar with General John Pershing.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I could add to that is that particular war, the Moro tribesmen, was what led to the creation of the 45 ACP, and
As opposed to
they were using 38s, and it was insufficient to stop the drugged up Moro tribesmen.
right.
They would,
I applaud your
smoke whatever
scholarship.
they
That's
smoked
correct.
over there and attack, and the 38 would just not stop them.
Well, and to be a little more specific, it wasn't 38 Special. It was more
worse. It was 38
Yeah,
Colt.
Smith & Wesson or
Yeah.
38 Colt, which is a considerable shorter than a 38 Special. So these were really anemic.
Yeah.
So they were not doing the
38
job.
short Colt.
Or 38 Smith
Yeah.
& Wesson, yeah.
Which is a shorter, even less powerful cartridge.
Yeah, and those tribesmen and all that, because they were very much into guerrilla warfare. They were hiding in the trees and the bush and all that, and they were tied off at all their limbs, so they would take a shot, especially out of an inebriated caliber like the 38, and they would continue to come after them. So they needed something that actually would hit them, stop them, and put them on the ground.
They might leak to death later, but if they had already chopped your arm off, that didn't do you a whole lot of good. So as a stopgap, they pulled the revolvers, the new revolvers, from service, and they issued a bunch of the 1873s because the 45 Colt was doing the job, and they said, we need something with a little bit more horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Machetes and yo-yos, that's what
Now,
they're coming at them with.
Pardon?
They were coming after them with machetes and yo-yos. If you look into the Moros and how they fought, they would use their hunting tools, which were generally these large yo-yos and machetes. So they were coming after you with very, very primitive tools, but still trying to get the job done.
Okay.
Yeah. So when did the 38 Special come into?
Jimmy, look it up.
Look that one up. It's
wanna
around the turn of the century. You can
Yeah.
tell from the size of the case and the flange around the base that is about the time that we were going from black powder to modern smokeless powder. So the turn of the century is a good look.
And 38 Smith & Wesson is a little larger diameter than the 38 Special, so you cannot put a 38 Smith & Wesson into a gun that will hold a 38 Special. So
It brought up the band.
what's that?
It brought up the band 38 Special.
Well, you know,
So
Ed,
they had the 38 Special available at that time, but they were using these smaller, more underpowered cartridges.
correct.
1898.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Introduced in 1899.
Well, keep it in mind, again, this was the 38 Smith & Wesson, and everybody wanted Smith & Wesson. So.
Yeah, name branded.
Right.
Even back then.
All righty.
But isn't the full name of the 38 Special the 38 Smith & Wesson Special?
I think so, but again, it is to the 38 Smith & Wesson what 357 Magnum is to a 38.
That's a fair comparison.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, it's about a third larger or longer in the case than the Smith & Wesson Special or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You get my point. Yeah. Getting to the end of the
Yeah.
show, I'm getting
But
tired.
again, that has a lot to do with how the 45 was developed and why.
At least why it was brought into the military. Anyway, Ed, thanks for the call as always.
All right. Thank you.
We'll talk to you.
Very good.
Bye-bye.
God bless you, Ed. Yeah, and I'm sorry. It says improved stopping power. I guess the 38 Special was also used in stopping the Philippines and stopping people in the Philippines as well. So combined 45 and 38 Special.
Yeah. Then let's get to Rick in Redondo. Rick, what can we do for you?
Hi, guys. Jeff, congratulations to you and Kathy on your 45-year anniversary.
Oh,
Amen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
That's a badge.
Well, like so many other callers who thank you for this show and for the services you provide, I also wanted to offer my dittos to you guys.
Oh, thank you very much.
And a couple of months back, I received my records report from the California Department of Justice, and on that automated firearms system record report, I can see my first purchase from July 1977,
Wow.
and almost everything bought since then. But my two questions are, how is this not a registry? And secondly, what might I do with some of the other items that I have that do not show up on that list?
Very interesting question.
Well, I can tell you what California wants you to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, California obviously wants to know where everything is, and if calling it a registry would be pretty much calling it exactly what it is.
That's what's the nice way to say that.
And the worst part about this so-called registry is when you sell a firearm, even if you do it through a dealer in a private party transfer, that gun always sticks to your name.
Registry.
Yeah, it never goes away off of your name. So now I got a question for you. How did you get that?
I did. I filled out a request online, then printed it out, had to get it notarized, sent in my check along with it, and a copy of my California driver's license. And so I gave them all the information they kind of already had, but then waited a few weeks, and then that arrived in the mail finally.
Wow.
Okay, that's interesting because I have never heard of anybody getting to that. Now, I know police departments can get that information. I know I cannot. You know, as a gun dealer, I can't pull up that information. So
Okay.
I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in getting that for themselves.
Yeah, I believe it was a citizen's request, and I found it under the Department of Justice, and it probably was something that one of your callers talked about maybe 6 months ago or so, or something that maybe the Michelle Law Group talked about in one of their books.
Fun to look at.
But yeah, you can write, fill out this form, send in the fee, of course, and they will send you everything they have in the system with your name. It also includes your driver's license number, your birth date, you know, all the things that you have to put on the DROS anyway. So
That's interesting. I bet a lot of people would like to see their own.
Right?
Yeah, to see what they have. Because I can't tell you how often people call the stores and tell them, I got pulled over and they took it because they say it's not my name, but I did this at a gun shop. And, the records are not really well kept.
No.
And, up until about, 7 years ago, when you bought a long gun, a shotgun or a rifle.
Just listed as...
Yeah, they only asked how many.
Yeah.
And they did a background check on you. They didn't even ask about that long gun. So there's lots of firearms out there that they have no idea where they are because of the fact that, it's a guy come to my auction, bought 9 rifles. And it just said, how many? 9. And then the only proof of what he bought would have been in my A&D book, which, of course, has been turned into ATF some time ago.
And that's a handwritten book. That's not even like it's that's printed out and they can't.
Yeah, nobody would have any kind of knowledge of that stuff. So
your permanent record.
Your permanent record. That's the same thing your fifth grade teacher warned you about.
Oh,
Wait,
this is going to be on your permanent record.
It'll follow you forever, I tell you. Anyway, okay. Well, Rick, thanks for the info on that.
Interesting. That is really interesting.
Yeah, and I'm sure, like I said, give one more time. How do you get it?
I filled out a form that I found on the Department of Justice website for the state of California, and I think it was titled something like Citizen's Request, something like that.
Okay.
I'm going to see if I can look it up real quick.
Well.
And it was regarding the ownership, firearms ownership.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully that's good enough. And Rick, thanks for the call.
Ashley, God bless you.
You got it. All right.
love
Thanks, guys.
That's
take
really interesting.
Bye-bye.
And thank you.
Okay, so anybody wants to check that out, go to, I think it's doj.ca.gov.
That's right.
And then try and find what he was talking about there.
Yeah, there's generally a search engine on there as well. So if you type in some keywords, it may just pop up as well.
My permanent record.
Permanent record.
This is gonna go on your permanent.
I can't tell you how many times I got threatened with that as a kid. You know this
Well,
is going
now
on your
you
permanent
know.
record, don't you? Oy, oy, oy.
Remember that time with Mrs. Hattrip in 5th grade?
Do you know my actual fifth grade teacher went wackadoo, and they had to have him removed from, and we ended up with a substitute teacher for the rest of the year.
At that time, I thought all of my teachers were wackadoo, but I also thought they lived at the school. So.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. That was a crazy time.
My brother and I had the same 5th grade teacher, and she thought I was exactly like him, but I actually turned out to be worse. So,
How high was the bar?
Very, very, very low.
Well, there's that.
Didn't like. Anyway, she saw that last name pop up, and she was like,
I had an older brother too, but he was a very good kid, so I came as a little bit of a shock to everyone.
Oh, he's one of those, is he? Well, I only have an older sister, and she's 8 years older than me, so I didn't have to worry about any of that. You guys, you're listening to Gunslingers right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
And we'll be back with more phone calls right after this.
Yes, sir.